The Sirens, with their enchanting voices and mysterious allure, are among the most captivating creatures in Greek mythology. Often depicted as dangerous and beguiling, these mythical beings have lured countless sailors to their doom with their irresistible songs. Their story is woven through the fabric of ancient tales, symbolizing both the perilous temptation of desire and the power of song. In this video, we will explore the origins, legends, and enduring legacy of the Sirens, as we unravel the mysteries of these enigmatic figures in Greek mythology. The Sirens, mysterious and beguiling, have intrigued those fascinated by Greek mythology for centuries. To truly understand these enchanting yet perilous creatures, one must delve into their origins, which are as rich and complex as the legends they inhabit. The Sirens are most commonly believed to be the daughters of the river god Achelous and one of the Muses, though the specific muse varies across different versions of the myth. Some say their mother was Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, while others suggest Terpsichore, the muse of dance and chorus, or Melpomene, the muse of tragedy. This divine parentage bestowed upon the Sirens their otherworldly musical talents, particularly their voices, which were said to be more beautiful than any earthly sound. According to some myths, the Sirens were originally companions of Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, goddess of the harvest. When Persephone was abducted by Hades and taken to the underworld, Demeter cursed the Sirens for failing to protect her daughter. In some versions of the story, this curse took the form of transforming the Sirens into half-bird, half-woman creatures condemned to dwell on a remote island, luring sailors to their doom with their irresistible songs. Other versions suggest that the Sirens chose their fate voluntarily, asking the gods to give them wings so they could search for Persephone. This transformation, whether seen as a curse or a choice, marked the Sirens' descent into their role as dangerous temptresses, forever associated with death and the sea. The Sirens' appearance is as intriguing as their origin story. They are often depicted with the bodies of birds and the heads of women, though later representations show them as beautiful women with some avian features such as wings or talons. This hybrid form symbolizes their dual nature. They are at once alluring and deadly, beautiful yet dangerous. The bird aspect of the Sirens links them to the sky and freedom, while their human features connect them to the mortal world. This duality makes them complex figures in mythology, embodying the tension between the mortal and the divine, the earthly and the ethereal. The island home of the Sirens is as much a part of their legend as the creatures themselves. Located somewhere in the Western Sea, near the Strait of Messina, their island was said to be surrounded by treacherous rocks and cliffs. It was a place where the natural beauty of the landscape masked the deadly peril that awaited any who ventured too close. The siren songs would drift over the waves, reaching the ears of sailors and drawing them irresistibly toward the shore. But this shore was no safe haven. It was littered with the bones of those who had succumbed to the Sirens' call. The geography of the Sirens' Island is often described in vivid detail in ancient texts. The island was believed to be lush and green, filled with wildflowers and other enticing sights, which only heightened its deceptive allure. The contrast between the island's outward beauty and the death that awaited those who approached it reflects the Sirens' own nature. They are both captivating and lethal, offering something seemingly desirable, but ultimately destructive. The island, in many ways, is a metaphor for the dangers of temptation and the perils of giving in to desire without considering the consequences. Sailors in ancient times viewed the Sirens' Island with a mixture of fear and fascination. The sea was already a dangerous and unpredictable place, filled with unknown threats, and the Sirens added a supernatural element to these fears. Their songs, described as being sweet beyond measure, were capable of clouding the judgment of even the most experienced sailors, leading them to make fatal mistakes. The Sirens' Island thus became a symbol of the dangers that lie hidden beneath the surface of things, a reminder that what seems appealing at first glance can often conceal deadly threats. One of the most famous encounters with the Sirens is found in Homer's Odyssey, where the hero Odysseus faces the challenge of resisting their deadly allure. As part of his long journey home from the Trojan War, Odysseus and his men sail past the Sirens' Island. Aware of the danger, Odysseus takes the advice of the sorceress Circe, who has warned him of the Sirens' power. He orders his men to fill their ears with beeswax so they cannot hear the Sirens' song, and he has himself tied to the mast of his ship, instructing his men not to release him no matter how much he might beg. As they approach the island, the Sirens begin to sing, their voices promising knowledge and pleasure beyond anything Odysseus has ever known. They call out to him by name, offering to reveal the secrets of the world and praising his past deeds. Their song is so powerful that Odysseus struggles against his bonds, desperate to reach the source of the music. But his men, their ears stopped with beeswax, cannot hear the Sirens and remain oblivious to their captain's pleas. They continue to row, steering the ship safely past the island and leaving the Sirens behind. This encounter is a testament to the Sirens' seductive power and the lengths to which one must go to resist their temptation. Odysseus, known for his cleverness and resourcefulness, understands that he cannot trust himself to resist the Sirens' song on his own. By taking the precautions he does, he is able to survive the encounter, though not without experiencing the full force of their allure. The episode illustrates the danger of temptation and the importance of self-control, themes that resonate throughout Greek mythology. The Sirens' interaction with Odysseus also highlights the nature of their power. It is not physical strength, but psychological manipulation that makes them so dangerous. They appeal to Odysseus' vanity, curiosity, and desire for knowledge, exploiting his weaknesses in an attempt to lure him to his death. Their song, though beautiful, is a weapon as deadly as any sword or spear, capable of bringing about the downfall of even the greatest heroes. In this way, the Sirens embody the perilous allure of the unknown, the temptation to pursue forbidden knowledge or pleasures, regardless of the cost. The Sirens, with their haunting melodies and fatal allure, have captivated the imaginations of countless generations, and their myth has evolved significantly over time. As Greek culture spread and interacted with other civilizations, the story of the Sirens was absorbed, reinterpreted, and reshaped by different societies. This process of adaptation allowed the Sirens to endure far beyond their origins in ancient Greek myth, influencing art, literature, and culture throughout history and into the modern era. In classical Greek art, the Sirens were typically depicted as bird-like creatures with the heads of women, embodying their dual nature as both alluring and dangerous. Vase paintings, mosaics, and sculptures from the period often show them perched on rocky outcrops, singing to passing ships, with the remains of their victims scattered around them. These images capture the essence of the Sirens as both beautiful and deadly, emphasizing the peril they represent. The classical portrayal of the sirens focused heavily on their role as agents of death, luring men to their doom with their enchanting voices. As the sirens' myth spread throughout the Mediterranean, their image began to evolve. In Roman times, the sirens were often depicted as fully human women, sometimes with wings, sitting on the shore and playing musical instruments. This shift in representation reflected a broader trend in Roman art and culture, where mythological figures were often humanized and their more monstrous aspects downplayed. The Roman sirens were still dangerous, but their appearance was more seductive and less overtly terrifying. This version of the sirens emphasized their role as temptresses, focusing on the psychological aspects of their allure rather than their physical monstrosity. During the Middle Ages, the sirens underwent another significant transformation. As Christian symbolism began to dominate European thought, the sirens came to be seen as symbols of sin, particularly the sin of lust. Medieval bestiaries, which were collections of moralized descriptions of animals, often included entries on the sirens, describing them as embodiments of temptation and warning against the dangers of succumbing to their charms. In these texts, the sirens were frequently conflated with mermaids, another class of mythological beings associated with the sea and with the seduction of men. This association further shifted the sirens' image, making them more aquatic and more explicitly linked to the idea of moral corruption. The Renaissance period saw a revival of interest in classical mythology, and with it, a renewed fascination with the sirens. Artists, writers, and scholars of the Renaissance were drawn to the rich symbolism of the sirens and explored their myth in new ways. Renaissance artists, such as those from the Italian school, often depicted the sirens as beautiful women with some animalistic features, such as wings or a serpent-like tail, emphasizing their hybrid nature. These depictions reflected the Renaissance interest in the tension between human reason and animalistic instinct, with the sirens symbolizing the dangers of giving in to base desires. In literature, the Renaissance saw the sirens become more complex figures, embodying not just temptation, but also the tension between knowledge and ignorance. For example, in Edmund Spenser's epic poem, The Faerie Queene, the character of the siren is used to explore themes of deception and the dangers of false appearances. Spenser's siren lures knights with her song, not just to their physical doom, but to their moral and spiritual downfall, reflecting the period's preoccupation with the battle between virtue and vice. The sirens became symbols of the perils that lie in the pursuit of forbidden knowledge or in the surrender to worldly temptations. As European culture moved into the Baroque and Romantic periods, the sirens continued to evolve, becoming figures of fascination in the arts. The Romantic period, in particular, with its emphasis on emotion, the sublime, and the exploration of the darker aspects of human nature, found in the sirens a perfect embodiment of the tension between beauty and danger. Romantic poets and painters often portrayed the sirens as tragic figures, doomed to their roles as temptresses, and emphasized the melancholy and loneliness of their existence. This era added a layer of depth to the sirens' myth, portraying them as more than just villains. They became symbols of the unattainable, of longing, and of the inevitable sorrow that comes from the pursuit of impossible desires. The sirens also began to appear in operas, where their association with music was naturally emphasized. Composers like Richard Wagner and Hector Berlioz drew on the myth of the sirens to explore themes of love, death, and the power of music to enchant and destroy. In these operatic adaptations, the siren song took on a central role, not just as a plot device, but as a symbol of the power of art itself, its ability to captivate, transform, and, at times, lead to one's downfall. The sirens in these works were often portrayed as seductive yet tragic, embodying the duality of art as both a source of beauty and a potential harbinger of doom. In the modern era, the sirens have continued to captivate artists, writers, and filmmakers. Their image has been adapted to fit contemporary concerns and aesthetics, often reflecting modern anxieties about technology, alienation, and the dangers of desire in a world increasingly dominated by media and consumer culture. In literature, the sirens have appeared in various guises, from James Joyce's Ulysses, where they symbolize the intoxicating allure of the city, to Margaret Atwood's poem Siren Song, which deconstructs the myth by giving voice to the sirens themselves, revealing their weariness and desire to escape their role. In film and television, the sirens have been reimagined in countless ways, from the femme fatale characters of noir cinema, who embody the deadly allure of the sirens, to more literal interpretations in fantasy and horror genres. These modern adaptations often explore the siren's myth through a psychological lens, focusing on the seductive power of the unknown and the fear of losing oneself to uncontrollable desires. The sirens have become a versatile symbol, used to explore a wide range of themes, from the dangers of addiction and obsession to the complex dynamics of power and control in relationships. The sirens' enduring presence in art and culture speaks to the universal themes they embody: the tension between desire and destruction, the allure of the unknown, and the dangers of succumbing to temptation. As our understanding of these themes has evolved, so too has our interpretation of the sirens, allowing them to remain relevant and compelling figures in an ever-changing cultural landscape, whether as symbols of lust, death, or the power of art. The sirens continue to resonate with audiences, reminding us of the timeless struggle between reason and desire, and the perilous beauty that lies at the heart of their myth. The sirens have long been figures of deep symbolism in Greek mythology, embodying a complex interplay of themes that resonate across various aspects of human experience. Their myth is not merely a tale of dangerous creatures luring sailors to their doom. It is a rich allegory that explores the nature of temptation, the duality of beauty and danger, and the power of music and voice to influence the human soul. Over centuries, these themes have been interpreted, reinterpreted, and expanded upon, revealing the profound psychological and philosophical underpinnings of the siren's myth. At the heart of the siren's story is the theme of temptation. The siren song, described as irresistibly beautiful, represents the allure of forbidden desires, those impulses and urges that promise pleasure or knowledge but lead to destruction. This aspect of the sirens reflects a universal human experience: the tension between the pursuit of desires and the potential consequences of succumbing to them. The sirens' ability to draw sailors to their deaths with their song serves as a powerful metaphor for the dangers of giving in to temptation without considering the long-term repercussions. In this sense, the sirens can be seen as embodiments of the concept of akrasia, a term used in ancient Greek philosophy to describe a state of acting against one's better judgment. The sailors who are lured by the sirens are not ignorant of the danger. They often know that following the siren's call will lead to their demise. Yet, they are unable to resist the overwhelming pull of the siren's song. This phenomenon speaks to the human experience of struggling with self-control and the difficulty of resisting urges that one knows to be harmful. The sirens thus symbolize the inner conflict between reason and desire, highlighting the fragility of human willpower in the face of overwhelming temptation. The duality of beauty and danger is another key theme encapsulated by the sirens. Their voices, as well as their physical appearance in some depictions, are described as stunningly beautiful, yet this beauty conceals a deadly threat. This juxtaposition reflects the idea that what is outwardly appealing can often hide a darker, more sinister reality. The siren's beauty is not benign. It is a weapon used to ensnare and destroy. This theme resonates with the broader concept of mimesis in Greek thought, where art and beauty have the power to imitate and evoke the real world, often leading to profound emotional and psychological effects on the observer. The sirens, through their song, create an illusion of safety and pleasure, but this illusion masks the true peril that lies beneath. This duality can be extended to the broader human experience, where many things in life that appear attractive or desirable on the surface can harbor hidden dangers. Whether it be wealth, power, or even love, the sirens remind us that the pursuit of these things can lead to ruin if one is not cautious and discerning. The siren's myth thus serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of being seduced by appearances and the importance of looking beyond the surface to discern the true nature of what one desires. The sirens also symbolize the power of music and voice, not just in their ability to enchant, but in their capacity to control and manipulate. In ancient Greek culture, music was believed to have profound effects on the human psyche. The Greeks understood music not just as entertainment, but as a force that could influence emotions, behaviors, and even moral character. The siren's song is the ultimate expression of this power, so compelling that it overrides the reason and will of those who hear it. This reflects a deep understanding of the psychological effects of music, where rhythm, melody, and harmony can evoke intense emotional responses and even alter states of consciousness. The siren's use of music as a tool of manipulation also speaks to broader themes of persuasion and rhetoric in Greek thought. In many ways, the sirens can be seen as figures who represent the darker side of persuasion, the ability to convince others to act against their own best interests. This aligns with concerns in Greek philosophy about the ethical use of rhetoric, as discussed by figures like Plato and Aristotle. The siren song is akin to the sophistry that these philosophers warned against, beautiful and persuasive on the surface, but ultimately deceptive and harmful. In this context, the sirens serve as a reminder of the ethical responsibilities that come with the power of persuasion and the potential consequences of using that power for selfish or destructive purposes. The siren's myth also explores the theme of knowledge and the dangers associated with its pursuit. In many versions of the myth, the siren song is said to promise the revelation of great secrets or forbidden knowledge. This idea ties the sirens to the broader motif of the quest for knowledge in Greek mythology, where the pursuit of understanding often comes with significant risks. Figures like Prometheus and Icarus exemplify this theme, where the quest for knowledge or transcendence leads to suffering or downfall. The sirens, by offering knowledge through their song, tempt mortals to seek out what is forbidden or beyond their grasp, ultimately leading them to destruction. In this light, the sirens can be seen as guardians of knowledge that mortals are not meant to possess. Their song, while beautiful and enticing, represents the danger of overreaching. of seeking to know or experience more than is safe or appropriate. This ties into the Greek concept of hubris, or excessive pride and ambition, which often leads to a person's downfall. The Sirens' victims are often those who cannot resist the temptation to learn what lies beyond the ordinary, only to find that such knowledge comes at a fatal cost. This theme reflects the ancient Greek ambivalence toward knowledge and progress, recognizing both its value and its potential to lead to disaster if pursued recklessly. Finally, the Sirens serve as a symbol of the complexities of human desire itself. Desire, in the context of the Sirens myth, is multifaceted. It is not just physical or emotional, but intellectual and spiritual as well. The Sirens' song appeals to all aspects of human desire, offering fulfillment in multiple forms: pleasure, knowledge, companionship, and escape from the mundane. Yet these desires, when pursued without caution or restraint, lead to ruin. The Sirens thus encapsulate the idea that desire is both a driving force in life and a potential source of destruction. Their myth encourages reflection on the nature of desire and the ways in which it can both elevate and endanger us. In sum, the Sirens are far more than mere monsters in Greek mythology. They are rich symbols that explore fundamental aspects of the human condition: the allure of temptation, the deceptive nature of beauty, the power of music and voice, the pursuit of knowledge, and the complexities of desire. Their myth resonates because it speaks to universal experiences and concerns, offering timeless lessons about the dangers of giving in to what seems too good to be true. The Sirens remind us that while the world is full of wonders and temptations, wisdom lies in discerning which paths to follow and which to avoid, lest we find ourselves lured to our own destruction by the irresistible songs that echo in our hearts and minds.